It's still showing me as offline. Oh, there we go. Ah, there we go. Okay, this is weird. I'm gonna wait a little bit to see if anybody comes in the chat. If anyone starts watching. You know, I can't see it right now. Oh, there it is. So I actually have to start saying something. This is pretty cool. Let's see. Let's see. Share this link so people could come on in. What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's had a good day. I know today's been very hard and very trying. Because of it being 9/11 and all, so hope everybody's doing all right. 2 minutes. I'm gonna wait until more people start to show up. Oh, one person's watching. Hello. Feel free to hit me in the chat box and say hello. Feel free to say something. In fact, I'll say something. Oh, crowd. Too foxy for me. Well, I do my best. I have a lot of people to to catch up to keep me on my toes in regards to foxiness. So I do this for the people, So what's going on, crowd? How you feeling? I'm gonna wait and see if some more people show up. Cause at first I was gonna. Hello, Anagorisis. How y'all doing? How are you doing? Hope y'all are doing well today, considering, September 11th and all that stuff. Hope you guys have been doing what you've had to do for self-care and everything. Oh, I'm good, crowd. I'm good. Today was pretty chill, considering, with it being 9/11 and all that. I forget, it's probably later where you are. It's probably September 12th already. So I'm giving this streaming thing a try. I downloaded the program. What's the name of it? XSplit. I downloaded the broadcaster, XSplit broadcaster, because I know there's two types. There's one just for streaming, and then there's one for gaming, which I don't game right now. I don't game enough to use that one. So at a time of the year where my family argues about 9/11 being, oh God, it seems like that. Yeah, it kind of seems like the conspiracy theories about 9/11 are never going to go away. They're never going to die. And it sucks because it really diminishes, it really takes away from the tragedy. It really takes away from, you know, focusing more on people, on those who lost their lives. And and it's silly because we've had what 10 it's been what 15 years now, so we've had more than enough time to find out who did it and why. Now if your family wants to say that it was an inside job because the terrorists who did it, the CIA knew about them, I can understand that, but that's more on them not being on their job to watch those guys. You know what I mean? So, oh yeah, steel beams cannot melt. I'm telling you, and it's like, and another thing about conspiracy theories, 9/11 conspiracy theories, and yeah, the jets can't melt steam beams. You can't melt steel beams. Never mind the shit that we all saw on TV. Apparently, it can. But they're just super delusional. Oh God, no. Oh God, no! I've never. I don't think I've spoken about conspiracy theories on 9/11 before. I don't think so. Um, because I never give those like the time of day. I never give those. I don't pay those any attention because at best they're naive and whatnot. Some people may mean well, but then like at worst it's just downright nonsensical, and to the point of like disrespect. It reminds me of the Boston bombing conspiracy theorists. It's like, we know who did it. Like, it just makes no sense. It's made by people who just have a little too much time in their hands and are just a little too paranoid. And I mean, listen, our government is capable of doing some really, really shitty things. COINTELPRO, Contra, the war on drugs and all that. But 9/11 and the Boston bombing, come on. The shootout in Texas this week. Yeah, I think your family, yeah. Do they just have a lot of time on their hands? Is that what the problem is? And yeah, you're right. You're right, Anna Gore. You're right, Anna Gorsis. You can't argue with conspiracy theorists because they get way too emotional because their entire worldview is heavily invested in believing in those conspiracy theories. So anything that refutes them or just like flies in the face of them just brings their world crashing down, and they're not ready to even consider the possibility that what they believe in so much is wrong. So yeah, what can you do? Any major event against London? Ooh, now that's just kind of being a jerk. Any major event that gets a lot of media attention, my parents think it's fake. Damn. So I wonder, did they think that the second Rwandan genocide was fake when that happened? Because that would be like, that'd be seriously fucked up. That'd be pretty damn fucked up. That's just, I don't even know if that's, paranoia or just plain cynicism. Ugh. Which is, I don't know which one is worse. Probably cynicism. Because it's just like, you just really don't give a fuck at that point. Like, oh, this happened? Nah, it's probably fake. They probably just wanted attention. Nah. Ugh, that's just, 9/11 was done by an alliance between the reptilians and the Illuminati in order to go to the Middle East and steal the Turkish delight. Whatever this Turkish delight thing is, I would like to know what it is too. Now I'm curious. Because it sounds like a flavor of sounds like a type of gelato that I should try. Turkish delight. Or that's just me, and because I really like food. But yeah, oh man, I woke up this morning and it was nothing but 9/11 stuff going on early in the morning and stuff, so I had to rely on my phone to let me know what the weather was gonna be. Humid as fuck. So, oh god. And Agora says, so your mom believes in aliens? Holy shit, Jupiter Ascending. I was about 20% curious about watching that movie, but then I lost interest really quick. Turkish Delight. So Turkish Delight is a flavor of gelato by Talenti? Okay, I have to find it then, because I feel like that flavor of Turkish Delight should be the first gelato that I ever taste. Because, I know there's vanilla and chocolate and other flavors like that. But, I mean, if I'm going to try gelato, and I mean, like, real good gelato, why not just go full 360 and just get some Turkish Delight? Jellyish sugary dessert. Yeah, it's I'm guessing it's like it's high maintenance ice cream. That's what I come to view it as. Very, very high maintenance ice cream. And I mean like the type of iced sugary dessert that, you get the teeny weeny little spoons and, you dig in and then you eat with your pinky up like this. Those. Yeah, Anna Garisa. Sometimes you gotta let people have. Sometimes you just leave them. You gotta leave them with their sacred cows, cause you never know. You might kick off fucking Ragnarok if you shatter someone's. If you take someone's sacred cow away from them, it will definitely. It may, start, the apocalypse or Ragnarok, like I've said, and lead to the fall of the gods. Oh shit. So, oh man, this is fun. Even though there's only 5 people watching. I tweeted the link out, man. People, come watch me. You want to. You want to. I just need the link now, again. I get worried because of the language she uses sometimes. Like, dog whistle language. Yeah, that's definitely when you have to worry about parents They start using certain language, and has she talked about the world coming to an end? By mentioning That's right. That's right. I am appropriating white culture. Is mine now. I'm taking all this shit. I'm taking all of it. I'm taking fucking corsets. I'm taking wigs. I'm taking fucking. Y'all can keep smallpox though. Oh wait, you guys actually did something great and got rid of smallpox. Okay, well, good job on getting rid of smallpox in the West, at least. Or was that polio? Yeah, you motherfuckers almost got pretty much eradicated polio in the West. So good job for that, white people. And corsets are awesome, as well as pumpkin donuts. Pumpkin donuts can stay. Well, no, I'm going. They can stay because I'm going to appropriate them. But like you guys can keep Uggs. You can keep fedoras. Except for the one that I will appropriate for myself, and you guys can keep the rest. And yeah, what else am I gonna take? I guess I'll take the big wigs also. And I'll appropriate not putting a lot of sodium in my food. And that's all I will appropriate from white culture. We will force the fedora into all. Well, you guys pretty much have forced us to accept that the fedora is part of the culture. And it's pretty much like the Borg now. We have taken the fedora and added those traits. You guys have taken the fedora and added those traits to your own. You offend me because my girlfriend. Oh my gosh, I am sorry. Well, wait a minute. How am I offending you? How am I offending you and your girlfriend? Listen, I'm not the one who came over. Listen, my ancestors aren't the ones who came over and brought fucking smallpox over here, okay? Look at your ancestors for that. All right, they're the motherfuckers that brought over smallpox to this country. So, Sashat, you need to apologize to your own girlfriend. Take that, take that. Don't be trying to put that shit on me and my people. Shit. We had enough shit put on us. Still do. Trying to put fucking smallpox on black people. Better not. Matter of fact, you should be thanking us. Pretty much thank us and every other person of color for why the U.S. does not suck as far as culturally. So I guess I should, since we're cracking up about cultural appropriation, I guess I should talk a little bit about it, right? Because, like, here's the thing. I really didn't want to talk about it that much, but too many people have been talking out their ass about it, especially, with Miley Cyrus at the VMAs and stuff, and her latest I want to be a nigga, but I don't really want to be a nigga, caricaturizing black female sexuality. I mean, I haven't seen a white chick that obsessed with black female sexuality since Madonna. Yeah, I said it. Since Madonna. Only she just does it badly. Like, really, really, really bad. And it's not like it's her first offense either. Miley just doesn't give a fuck. It's like there's that blind spot there. There's that white privilege blind spot there. And she just doesn't give a fuck about any of that. Oh, hey, what's up, Jenny? If you're still there, I think there were 10 people, but now there's only 8, So whomever's still here, thanks for sticking around. What's up? But yeah, between the Miley Cyrus shit and then I saw an article of white people accusing Beyonce of appropriating white culture. And then on Twitter, this dumbass Cave Becky put up this picture of Nicki Minaj. She put these 4 pictures of Nicki Minaj together, saying that she was appropriating all these different cultures. And it was so stupid because the one picture of Nicki, she was in a kimono, right? So the Cave Becky was trying to say that she was appropriating Japanese culture. And Nicki has Japanese in her recent ethnic history on both sides of her family, paternally and maternally, through her grandfather and her grandmother. So, number one, that one was wrong. And then there was another picture of Nicki in like some native, and some looking like it looked pretty like tribal or something. But this is the thing, her native ethnic history is also from Trinidad. She was wearing traditional Trinidadian Trini garb and stuff. So that's part of her culture. So no appropriation there, strike 2. And then Nicki was dressed up like an around the way girl, typical black stuff, hoop earrings and shit like that. And it's like, strike 3, she's black. And then there was a picture of Nicki with like a blonde wig or a pink wig or something like that. So I guess she was appropriating white culture. And it's just like, wow, people are dumb. People were just like reaching. Those were some reaches. Seriously. Do you ever feel like the line between contemporary culture and white culture is a tad unfair on us? Old chugging. Let's see. No, not really. Crowd. Because when we say contemporary culture and quote unquote white culture, we're basically saying the same thing. Just like when we say, the default culture, mainstream culture, that is white culture. And that's pretty much, yeah, there's really no line. It's just, different languages to say different things. Because, if we say white culture all the time, then, people will start crying, reverse racism, which, So sometimes it's better to just say, contemporary culture or mainstream culture or the default Western culture, which it's still white culture because it's definitely white Eurocentric. So, and that is the standard for which all other cultures have had to either adapt to or more than likely assimilate into. So, and that's why when certain white people accuse Beyonce of appropriating white culture, they're not making any sense, because you can't appropriate what you've been assimilated into. With the wigs and the straight hair. So, and that's another thing when some people say like, oh, well, what about when, black women, straighten their hair and shit. And it's like, are you serious? Straight hair, that is a major part of the default white Eurocentric culture that black women and, women of color, period, have had to assimilate into to be accepted. So, we can't appropriate that which we have been forced to assimilate into or adapt into. So, yeah. Jenny had to go, oh, instigating fire starter. Yes, smallpox did kill the natives along with colonizers. So again, don't fucking put that on me and my people, Sashat. Don't you do that. Oh my god, Varmint, Coyote, how are you, sweetie? Oh my god. Um, I watched your video, side note, I watched your video about the significance of having, pride parades and shit like that. And I agreed with everything you said. And oh my god, you wear that little bow. Do you have different colors? Do you have different color bows that you can put on like in every video? Like, cause you look so cute with them. I love whenever you wear the bow. You look so cute. Please keep doing that. I mean, you don't have to put them on just to please me. I mean, who am I? But oh my god, your bows are so cute. And you're cute, so hi. But but yeah. Pink and light purple. Oh my god, yes. Yes. Pink and light purple. Pink and purple are the shit. In fact, I wore a mix of like pink, well, magenta, pink, whatever, pink and purple eyeshadow when I went to Pride this year, because I marched with the bisexual contingent. That was part of the march back in June, and it was fun, so much fun. It was so fucking hot, but it's worth it. And I agree with you in regards to the significance of marches and parades. It's not just about, letting the freaks come out or anything like that. It is, and even if it is, so what? It is an expression of you, of all the different types of personalities and sexualities that society has traditionally looked down upon and ostracized people for being. So when I see all the cute gay men's out in short ass shorts or speedos, and see all the bears come out and all that, and see all the drag queens coming out looking so beautiful, face makeup done so well, face beat to the gods, hair just laid the fuck out. Like, I love it. I love it. And I am so for it. Like, please just put yourself out there. Like, it's not just about putting causes out there. At first it was, because at the time, there was a lot of shit going on, with, gays, even LGBT folk being, out there and queer, and, you're just going to have to accept it. It is what it is. On top of, HIV AIDS and, our government's very lackluster response to the epidemic until it started spreading out of, until it started infecting, heterosexuals, not just gay and bisexual men and trans folk and IV drug users and Haitians. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's so simple. There's really no excuse for not understanding why they're still significant. And I am definitely a proponent of not forgetting history. You know what I mean? Because we see things come around in circles and shit like that. And it's like, oh my God, like, didn't something like this happen before? Yes, it fucking happened before. You weren't paying attention, and also, why not have a party? Why not have a march? I mean, like, do you know how many parties, how many events happen on the weekend of Pride? Like, and that's just before the march. Are you kidding? Fuck yeah, go out and party. Go out and express what you are, who you are. I am all for it. I don't give a fuck. And plus in New York, it's legal for women to go topless. So I saw a lot of topless women. Yes, I'm kind of a perv, but yes. And that was beautiful too. I'm still amazed. Can you imagine? Ha ha ha. No, no, I can't, because and in a way, it's like, it's hard enough having them now. So I can't even imagine how those conversations went back then, because it's like when I was getting caught up on that stuff and reading books that Bell Hooks wrote like in the late 70s, into like the 80s, and bringing up white cis hetero patriarchy and white privilege and things like that, and white, and subjects like white fragility, and just finding out how long we've actually had to deal with all this stuff. It's crazy. Oh, tits topless is tasteful. If it's on Facebook, I'm gonna look for it and like it if I haven't already, because there's a chance I might have. YouTube made these debates more. Oh, definitely. Definitely. YouTube and social media have definitely made these discussions very possible. And since I'm on Twitter most of the time, that's the medium in which I usually have a lot of those discussions. And then, of course, when I feel like making videos, I script them and I start talking about them. Way too many disingenuous people, and it's hard. It's hard sifting through, people who mean well versus people who don't. You have to, unless you're paying attention, you have to pay really good attention. You have to pay very close attention to people and what they're actually saying. And it just really kind of makes you wonder. Hold on one second. Someone hit me on Hangouts, and I have to actually let them know that I'm live. Come watch me talk. So, yeah, I love serious discussion about white feminism and womanism. I love them too when I don't feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. And that's not to say that you must agree with everything I'm saying. It's just at least come into the conversation understanding some things. You're likely to be pulled away? Why? Is your partner? Tell your partner not to be selfish. I want some coyote too. Okay? Tell your partner that sharing is caring, and they don't have to pull you away a lot if they can help it. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about appropriation. Anyone disagrees with me? What? Oh my, even you're stupid. Oh my God. Like, oh my God, because I know that we have had some disagreements in regards to Anita Sarkeesian, but that does not mean I hate England crowd, and how dare you insinuate that I do. I'm gonna cry later because of that. I haven't even been to England, and I know I don't hate it. How dare you insinuate such a thing? Lies, deception, and slander. I know myself, and I know for a fact that I do not hate England crowd, demon. Lies and slander and libel. should be ashamed of yourself, young man. Why do you hate England, Foxy? Because I can't stand the Queen. Oh my God. I think I saw a name of an article hating I saw a line of an article, I think it was from the Daily Mail. I forget, either the Guardian or the Daily Mail, about someone wrote an article saying that talking about how they wanted to be like the Queen, like Queen Elizabeth, that they wanted to be like her, like, oh, she's the type of feminist that I want to be. And I'm just like, what? No. No, 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 no. Baby, no. I do not want to be like one of like the biggest patriarchal patties in the universe ever. Like, nah. I'm fine. Don't you give me no sad faces, crowd. I do not hate England. That's a load of bollocks. That's right, I said it. But in regards to getting back to appropriation and shit, it's weird because it bothered me a lot, because the bullshit that I would hear a lot came from white people who consider themselves liberal, who are more on the liberal side, talking about, oh, well, we're in a country, it's America, and it's a melting pot, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, that makes no sense, you know? And I think people say things like that because they get defensive. Because anytime you tell the average white person that they cannot do something or partake in something, they really get in their feelings. Like, if you're like, hey, you can't wear cornrows, or you can't say this, or you can't say that, oh my God, they get very defensive. And I think a good amount of white people, especially on like the liberal side, but more on the anti, SJW side, think that when it comes to being more socially and culturally and even racially aware, they think it's all about policing what white people can and cannot do or say or partake in or enjoy. And that's not it at all. You know what I mean? And I will admit, the issue of when it comes to cultural appropriation and versus appreciation versus assimilation, I admit that the topic is complicated. It's hella complicated, like most things in life. And I definitely understand that, we as human beings, we like to simplify shit. We try to simplify as much shit as possible to be able to deal with life. I get that. But, if you're going to be an adult and wear the big boy and the big girl or the big intersex pants or whatever, you have to understand that there's going to be complexity in things. You know what I mean? And when we try to simplify everything, things like nuance and respect gets thrown out the window. And I think it's mainly respect where we run into the biggest problems, because, nowadays it's thought of to be cool to not give fucks about anything, to just not give a shit, to be detached from, and not detached, but to be emotionally detached from as much shit as possible. And I get that because, I've been guilty of trying to be like that myself, but I'm human, and it's okay to give a shit about things. It's okay to care about not being a shitty person, especially when in regards to respecting another person and respecting their culture, their history, their their nationality, whatever. So Queen Elizabeth climbed the social ladder despite being, she was born into that shit. And I mean, it's not like she pulled a Margaret Thatcher, who, I mean, she was a fucking horrible ass person, Margaret Thatcher. But I will acknowledge that she had some hurdles to climb over. Even if I know in life she wouldn't have acknowledged that, that it was pretty sexist or whatever, and she most likely hated feminists and all that. But yeah, Queen Elizabeth didn't have to climb over any hurdles. All she had to do was, she was born into the right family and married the right person. And yeah, that whole, being a part of that whole family that, go out and colonize the world and own people and shit like that. So yeah, not really the type of person I would aspire to be. That's just me though. I can add moderators? Oh, I like this. I really, really do. This is fun, even though there's only 7 people. But I like it. But yeah, and another place I think we run into problems when it comes to dealing with appropriation is reducing it to cultural exchange. Appropriation is not cultural exchange. It's not, hey, here yes, you've been assimilated. You've had to assimilate into our culture and all that stuff. Well, I'm just going to jack you for your stuff because, I think it's trendy looking or it looks so cool. I really like how that bindi looks on my forehead. So now I can pretend to be you guys and stuff. Like, basically, since we like to simplify things, when it comes to knowing whether or not you are appropriating someone's culture, it basically comes down to thinking and asking yourself why you are about to do a certain thing. Like, why do I want to put this bindi on my forehead? Why do I want to put faux dreadlocks in my hair? Why do I want to wear this tribal indigenous, headdress? Why do I want to wear this Chinese dress? It's almost like the Chun-Li dress, only with no splits. Maybe it has one, maybe it has two, but those type of dresses. Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to take this certain action? It all comes down to thinking about what you're about to do and why you want to do it. I know it's just hard. It is hard, even though it's not. But thinking like that one action can save you from being a jerk. And it annoys me that most people would just rather not do that. You know what I mean? So just think, like, why do I want to do this? Why am I going to wear this? Now, it's one thing, it will be one thing if, let's say, you were invited to a Guyanese style wedding, right? And you know that everyone is going to be looking a certain way, right? Let's say you're part of, let's say your best friend is Guyanese and he's getting married, right? And so he's going to have all of his people dressing in Guyanese style dress for, weddings and ceremonies and shit like that. That's fine. you know, that's fine. Let's say, if I were living abroad in Japan for like 3 to 5 years and stuff, and I stayed there long enough, I know the language, I understand the history, the culture, and things like that. And let's say I was invited to a summer festival, and um, a friend over there buys me a yukata, or we go yukata shopping, and I happen to buy one for myself. I would still feel pretty awkward about it because, I was a big otaku and stuff, and I was a big otaku back in the day, and I really had to um, think about, whether doing that stuff was okay or not. But, you know, it wouldn't be so much as me feeling as if I am a Japanese person as much as paying my respects and whatnot. Hold on a second, guys. You know, what? Cat doodle on the floor. No, she didn't. I just cleaned some out of her pan when I first started cooking. Isn't that doodle? What is that? All of that's for you? If she overeats. All of that? Oh, yeah. If it doesn't have enough protein, because oh, you know what? That's cute. That's a hairball. Because the thing is, that's how they, she is. Yeah, just say and yeah, no, she has to stop overeating or huh? Sorry, guys. Are you coming in here, Diana? Boy, I was, cause I know she don't use a puke or the doo-doo on the floor. Oh yeah, she would never. Sorry, guys. Sorry that I disappeared for a bit. I had to handle some things. Uh, yeah. Um, my grandmother thought that my cat did number two on the floor, which she would never do because she's litter trained. She's been litter trained for a while. Um, it was just, it was cat puke and a hairball. Which, I mean, thank the Lord, because I mean, if she had done anything else, I'd most likely have to take her to the hospital. Let's see who came on. Oh, Counts, what's up, dude? Technically, you will be integrating yourself into a different dominant culture. That's right. Yeah, if I like lived abroad, for a good amount of time, I would be integrating myself into the culture for a while. I wouldn't think I'd know that, I'm not, Japanese or Belgian or Belgian or Indian or Pakistani or wherever I would go. I know that I am not that ethnicity, but if I stayed there for a certain amount of time, then yeah, I would sort of integrate into it. And the thing is that could happen now, um but it really doesn't. Like, if you really look back into this country's history, there there was really no form of integration, or you know what I mean, or even adaptation, you know, because like even when you look at what happened to the Americans, you know, if they weren't wiped out from diseases or killed, they were forced to be slaves, or they were put into these types of schools, these establishments where they weren't allowed to speak their own language. They were forced to learn English, and they were forced to basically separate themselves from their own culture and forced to assimilate into the dominant culture. That happened with the Americans. That happened somewhat with freed slaves as well. Once we got emancipation, post-Civil War, and the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, we were pretty much stuck here. So we had to adopt the dominant culture. So to be accepted, and technically that hasn't really happened. I mean, there's definitely been strides and stuff like that. I'm not going to be totally pessimistic about that, but yeah, we were forced to assimilate to the dominant culture in order to, because we had to, in order to be accepted and validated and seen as human, which still doesn't really happen. You know what I mean? So straightening our hair and adopting white patriarchal norms and whatnot, you know, and looking at marriage as traditional, and to, you know, a mother and a father and things like that. Being lighter in skin tone versus being darker in skin tone, you know, a lot of things that Black people have had to deal with in this country, even while, you know, assimilating into the culture that, you know, that enslaved us and stuff. So I mean, we really had no choice. It's not like we were able to just get our shit and, you know, go back to where we came from or what have you. And in a way, like, why should they, you know, why should they, you know, what would have been the good in going back? This country was created on their backs and on their ancestors' backs. Because remember, during the slave trade, when it came to American slavery, they definitely brought slaves over here from West Africa and stuff like that. But it was only for a little while, and then the slave masters, you know, started making slave men and women copulate to breed, to basically create the workforce from birth. You know what I mean? So we were pretty much the only country in which, you know, we didn't go back. We didn't keep making, you know, there weren't multiple trips to Africa to bring more slaves over, unlike in the Caribbean and in South America, where, you know, we all know that slavery didn't end down there until about 30 or so years after we abolished slavery. So yeah, Marcus Garvey. Yeah, Marcus Garvey did with his movement, try to establish something to allow Black people to go back to Africa. I was talking more about like post emancipation, before the night. Just That just, it really is what it is. Like, you think that there's a lot of dislikes on this now. Go look at the stats at any video where I either talk about racism, and especially when I talk about racism in regards to a big YouTuber that a lot of white dudes like. Like, look at the likes and dislikes on the videos I did about, the 2 videos I did about dark matter. Look at the amount of dislikes I did on the 2 videos, on the 1 video where I directly addressed Gary Edwards, and then look at the amount of dislikes on the second video where I sort of address him, and also the videos where I address Thunderfoot. Like, I'm not, dislikes on things that I have to say don't really surprise me, because nobody really wants to hear what I'm trying to say. If you're not a person who if you're not bashing on Anita Sarkeesian, and if you're not anti-feminist, and if you're not an MRA, your shit will not be liked as much. Anti-feminism and just being an all-around dude bro is a cash crop on YouTube. I'm telling you, like, especially, like, why do you think, like, Thunderfoot claims, you know, on his channel, it's like, you know, science and education, science and reason, you know, science education for the win and all that, but the majority of his videos that he gets money from, that he has the most views and gets the most money on, is when he bashes feminism and when he bashes Anita Sarkeesian. Those are the videos that have made him money. And the same is like with Noel Plum too. My videos of Sarkeesian back in the day, 100,000 views. Yeah, like, you, and plus also, my cat's ripping up paper over there. Any video that is like a rant or something like that, but if you're ranting and saying shit that people, that I guess the mob wants to hear, and if they agree with you on, you will get a lot of likes. Anything that has nuance and complexity and shit will not get that many likes. What are your thoughts on Game Grumps and Nostalgia Critic? Game Grumps, I don't know who those people are. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Garnet. I don't really know who those people are. Yeah, so I may yet do like a small little rant on cultural appropriation, but I know it's going to get a lot of dislikes and a lot of, you know, white dude bros coming into my comment section telling me how stupid I am and all that. So, that's why I would rather talk about it over a stream, because it's just easier. It's easier that way, and, you know, and I address it, and whoever watches it, and whoever doesn't watch it, oh well, that's them. That's their loss. And plus, I think this is being recorded, so at some point I can put it up, so it's all good. Ooh, coming up on an hour. I think I'll go for maybe another 20 minutes. Another 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'll stop. Oh, it's 11:30. Okay, so I think I'll go until midnight, if that's all right with you guys. But yeah, nuanced videos don't really get much traction. Hey, Mystery Accent. Oh, I love Tori. I've I've been sub to Tori ever since she was younger, and I was really amazed, and I loved seeing a young black girl, a young girl of color, who was so intelligent, so smart, and who could express herself so well. Yeah, Tori has a lot of people hating on her now because of her her position on a lot of things, with her being a feminist, with her positions when it comes to talking about race and stuff like that. And it's really a consequence of her growing up and seeing and really paying attention and seeing how little things have changed in regards to equality and police brutality. Like she's been here for, Trayvon Martin and Rakia Boyd and Sandra Bland and Mike Brown and Eric Garner, and the little black girl that was killed by police during a raid for, I think, a TV show. And, Tamir Rice, and she can't help but pay attention and see these things and see, people who look like her are being treated a certain way. And, once you start commenting about those things, people get angry because they don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that. People don't want to think about how fragile they are when it comes to race conversations, especially white people. Like, most are not ready for any real conversations that we have to have, because most think we're post-racial. They think we're beyond it, that it's not an issue. Oh my God, you're bringing up race, so you must be racist. Just some real stupid perspectives. Being colorblind and shit like that. I hate colorblind people. I shouldn't say that. I don't hate them. I just dislike the perspective very much. Like, I deeply dislike it because it is just so, at best it's so naive, and then at worst it's just so, you are just in denial, Just like people in denial about, cultural appropriation. It's not appropriation, it's exchange, because our country is a big melting pot. Thank you for telling us that water's wet. We know how diverse the country is, and that it is a melting pot. I live in New York City, frequently called a cultural melting pot, and black people still get killed by racist police. So it's almost like, oh, well, we've made these strides, so these things can't possibly happen anymore. And it's bullshit. But, like I was saying earlier, when it comes, and that was just in regards to people who, who believe in, like, these really, really paranoid conspiracy theories. There are just certain things that people have to hang on to in order to keep keep the foundation on their perspective, on their worldview, and anything that flies in the face of it and refutes it, they outright reject it, because they don't want to spend the time to think whether or not their perspective is wrong. Especially when it comes to racism and sexism. That was one of the reasons why I did the video towards Gary Edwards. And when I watched his reply to me, like, it changed me to the point where I decided that that direct responses to people that I would stop doing them. That I wouldn't do response videos to people anymore, because I think at this juncture right now, I think it's useless. I think it's a waste of time, because especially depending on the person that you end up doing it to, because doing like a direct response video to Thunderfoot or Gary Edwards or Sargon of Akkad or Sparky Finster or whoever else has like a fucking odious worldview on anything, you're not going to get them to look at their views. You're not. They're too invested in them, not just personally, but in regards to their channel. They have an investment to continue to cater to the lowest common denominator in regards to their subscribers, to build them for money, from Patreon and shit like that, and any other sort of fan funding that they may or may not do. You know what I mean? To keep those subscriber counts up, they have to continue to cater to them, or that's most, if not all, their income from YouTube. You know what I mean? Plus, if you get them to even consider the possibility that wow, yes, I really am a fragile white man. That's why I have to utilize this, post-racial colorblind ideology to justify why I don't give a shit about, why I don't care about other people, because why I find their experiences trivial. Yeah, if they actually stopped and thought about it, like everything, the foundation, their foundation would crumble, and they can't have that. And I know it's hard, trust me, it is hard, but they're not going to change their perspective. They're not even going to look at their foundation to see if there's any cracks. But then they will accuse people who point out their fuckery, that they'll accuse them of, being the bigoted ones, or being the ones who don't think critically or anything like that. Let me see. Yeah, gender egalitarian is the new colorblind these days. I agree. It is. I wouldn't even say gender egalitarian. I would just say egalitarian is the new post-racial or post-sexist or something like that, because it gets thrown around not just for racism conversations, but for sexism as well. And people don't realize that that acting and behaving as if we are at a place, that we're at an egalitarian place right now, and that we live in a meritocracy and shit. People who think this way don't realize that that's not where we are. That's never where we were. We were never a meritocracy. It's not and being an egalitarian is one thing, but society is not there yet. And people like to believe that we're there. So, we don't need as much anti-racism advocacy and anti-sexism advocacy, but we do. Just because women aren't outright being denied certain jobs because of their gender, or someone isn't being called a nigger like in their face in public, or just because I don't walk outside my apartment building and see nooses on trees, that doesn't mean that racism is over. Just because a black guy's been in the White House for 8 years, that doesn't mean racism is over. Like, are you kidding? If anything, it jump-started it. What are your thoughts on today's music? Today's music sucks. It sucks. If I had my way, we would go back to music that was, we would stop at music that was released 2000, something like that. I don't listen to the radio anymore. I generally listen to older music from the 60s, 70s, 80s. I love 80s music. I love it so much. I've been bumping songs from the soundtrack totally 80s and shit. So I've been listening to, We Built This City and Kitty and Spin Me Round and 99 Luft Balloons and shit. I love 80s R&B, 80s rap. Yeah, I don't really listen to rap these days, if we can even call it rap anymore. It's just a joke. Everyone sounds the same. Everyone talks about the same shit. I don't really listen to much R&B from current R&B either, because it really feels like the same thing. It's like, it's the same 5 motherfuckers saying the same 5 things, like, how many songs do you have to talk about making a bitch hit her head on the headboard? You know what I mean? So that shit just gets boring after a while. Same thing with rap. How many times you gotta talk about how many keys you sold? At least make it interesting or something like that. Like, I will bump Young Jeezy any day of the week, because sometimes I just need that trap music. But I haven't listened to like his recent stuff, or anything if he put out anything like, last year or this year. But I bumped the fuck out of The Recession. The Recession, that album is my shit. Sometimes I don't want to think. Sometimes I just want to fight the air. And, so I'll have him for that. I'll have anything Little John made, crunk music. Yeah. Like, anything that will make me move, make me shake my ass, get my blood pumping in the gym, or just, fight air, like I said. Rap is more like dance club music now. I mean, yeah, it is, but it isn't if, like, in the dance club, all you're talking about is, yeah, I'm at the club, oh, looking at shorty, she's shaking her ass, I'm about to flash my jewelry and my rings and, toss some money at her and pour champagne over the bitch and then, take it to the back, let her suck my dick or whatever. You know what I mean? Just same old, misogynistic crap. It just gets boring after a while, and it's just like, I'm good. It's crap. Fetty Wap, I don't listen to that shit. Never liked Rick Ross. From the time I found out he was a fucking correction officer, get the fuck out of here. Like, he's a fake. He's fake. And yes, I know it might be stupid to expect authenticity from rap music, and especially these days. Yes, I get it, I know, but I'm saying though, fucking authenticity died when Big died. Authenticity sort of kind of died once Jay-Z really stopped making music, and Nas, Two Live Crew. Oh yeah, Two Live Crew started a lot of shit. They started the whole, shake your ass music. And they did start the whole misogyny was always in music. Misogyny was always in all forms of music, especially rap music. Listen to the Adventures of Slick Rick. But yeah, Two Live Crew really brought it to the forefront, with saying all sorts of dirty, misogynistic shit about women, And plus, once they got taken to court because of that, they basically, like, listen, we got the right to call these bitches skeezers and all types of skeezers, hoes, scallywags, scallywops. We can do whatever the fuck we want. And, other rap groups just sort of took that shit and they took the ball and ran with that shit. NWA, fucking every rap group. Basically, there was a big case with free speech based, on the basis of, we have the right to disrespect these hoes, to disrespect women. Anyway. Oh yeah, and so of course, not that I never listened to Uncle Luke, especially, Doo-Doo Brown. Doo-Doo Brown's the shit. Especially at a block party, are you kidding me? But, I'm an adult now, and looking back on a lot of the music that I listened to, especially a lot of the reggae, I haven't listened to old school reggae in a while because I am scared that I'm going to end up listening to something and it's going to be hella homophobic. But, of course, they're speaking that patois real fast or whatever. I don't always understand what they're saying. Sometimes, too many suckers, not enough time, and da-da-da-da-da-da, bati boy. And I don't even want anything to do with that. Like, nope. I can't look at it the same. I could just, stick to Sean Paul because I haven't heard, that much stuff. Or maybe there might be some homophobia in it. I just haven't heard it because, like, again, when it comes to the language, I don't always understand, what's being said. So I need someone to translate. But, oh shit. Oh shit, what's going on with my stream? Come on. What does this mean? Why is it yellow? Okay, it's okay. You guys are experiencing some minor issues. Okay. Yeah, when that shit starts happening, yeah, that lets me know that it could be time to stop after a while. So, yeah. So we got about 10 more minutes. Anything else? Any other questions? If y'all could. Thoughts on Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock? I liked Limp Bizkit. He was cool. I thought Kid Rock was cool too. But he's sort of been on some shit, especially being a Republican and all that. So I haven't really listened to any of Kid Rock shit recently. When it comes to Limp Bizkit, I bumped the hell out of break stuff because, especially in the gym, because you gotta listen to stuff that makes you mad and makes you want to lift heavy shit over your head. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, like I said, like I was talking about earlier, just wanted to get my thoughts out on cultural appropriation versus assimilation. So now we know that you cannot appropriate that which you have been forced to assimilate into. We got that, right? We also know now that when it comes down to discerning what is appropriation and what is appreciation, it comes down to thinking about what you're about to do, where, whatever, and asking why. And also, before anyone says, well, what about, the Chinese food that I had to eat, or yoga or martial arts or some shit like that. That stuff has been made, for mass consumption. So you personally, I don't think you can appropriate food. There might be a conversation on whether or not yoga was culturally appropriated. I think that's another conversation for another time for people who sort of think, who feel that might be the case. I don't think it's the case necessarily, but I think that some people may take it too far into, thinking that, oh, we have yoga, so now I can just, start wearing a bindi on my forehead and, start dressing like an Indian because, it's cool and looks trendy and, and it seems like it's the it thing to do. And yeah, that's when people start steering more on being appropriative on someone else's culture, and also not realizing the nuance that comes with that. When Miley Cyrus walks around with fake dreadlocks and tries to speak a certain way and screams out, I smoke pot and shit like that. She's doing that and not understanding that when we do it, we are looked at as lesser than. We're looked at as, that's just, it's bad enough that when it comes to, especially black people, when it comes to our culture, the default judgment when it comes to black culture is that it is negative. Everything about our culture is negative. And so when Miley tries her best to be a caricature of a black woman, it is appropriative and it is disrespectful. That's not to say that that is all that is of our culture, mind you. Hairstyles, that's not the only things that make us, and twerking. There are other things, but she's still being appropriate of a black culture. As is Iggy Azalea when she doesn't talk with her own Australian accent and talks with a quote-unquote black accent, where she tries to sound like she's the brat. Let's see. Not many people know geishas were basically... That's right. Not many people know that geishas were basically sex workers and waitresses. But they just like the way they look because, oh, look at their kimonos and all that. And, oh, look how they look and their makeup. They look so exotic. And I want to look like that. It looks so cute. It's all basically for selfish reasons why people want to dress like that, like Katy Perry. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And that's what makes it appropriative. And yeah, that is not, cultural exchange. That's someone from a position of privilege, being white and being part of the dominant culture, jacking someone else's shit without thinking about the cultural and historical significance and context. They just want to wear a kimono and wear their hair in a certain way because they think it looks cool. Or just how, people want to, wear their pants sagging and, put gold teeth in their mouths and get their hair braided in cornrows because they want to look urban or look ethnic or something like that. Don't even get me started. And yes, I'm even going to say it. Yes, when Kylie Jenner decides to wear cornrows, she is appropriating a hairstyle that girls like me, we get called ghetto for. And before anybody else says it, just because you haven't seen it happen doesn't mean it doesn't happen or has not happened. That's not just for white people, that, by the way. That's for other black people who are in a rush to say, well, I've never seen it happen. I've mostly seen, hairstyles are generally accepted and da 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 da. That's nice. In your little space, in your little bubble. I'm not just talking about what's going on in my space or in my face. I'm talking about what's going on, what happens outside of my neighborhood. And that's another problem when it comes to things like this. A lot of people approach these issues from a very ethnocentric lens. You know what I mean? Or is very limited. Well, I haven't seen this thing happen, so it doesn't happen. Well, I've never heard of such a thing, so such a thing does not exist. No, like, are you fucking serious? A woman named Seren talks about this. You're talking about Seren, Sensei Aishitimas. I love her. I think she's great. She is definitely she's not as patient with certain issues and certain folks as I am. But I know I am definitely getting to that point. In fact, I think I'm almost there, especially in regards when it comes to talking about racial issues. Because like I was saying earlier, after I made my first video to Gary Edwards and he made his response to me, something changed in me, especially when I did my second video about that. When it said it's called Cleaning the Rancid Mayo Off My Plate. And what changed in me is that I don't really go out of my way to say not all, and not all this or not all that, not all men, not all white people, da 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 da. Like, listen, because even when I go out of my way to be as nuanced as possible and not to generalize, I, go out of my way to script my videos and take special care on not throwing anybody under the bus. I still get called a racist by white people and shit. So, and even with issues of sexism, no matter how nuanced I am, to let people know, not all men, etc., etc., etc. I still get called, all the bitches and stuff like that, and people still throw stupid, unnuanced shit at me when I do my best to not generalize or make people think that I'm hastily generalizing, or me going out of my way to have a dialogue with people, hoping that they will at least try to look at their own perspective and give some thought to what I'm saying. And that's the thing with direct responses to people, especially with certain types on YouTube. They're not here for that. They're here to cater to a certain base and bilk people out of their money, and that's it. And to continue to talk because they like to hear themselves talk, which is also sort of another symptom of when it comes to white fragility. They like to put themselves out there as being the true objective one, and never being never being victims of their emotions or whatever the fuck. And it's all bullshit. They utilize certain ideologies or certain schools of thought, like philosophy, or, you know, being colorblind, or evil psychology. They utilize these things to as the fulcrum to build their foundation of because they really cannot handle conversations on race. It makes them very uncomfortable. And sexism. Because no one wants to, like I've said this in a video that I made, no one wants to ever think that they are contributing to the oppression of other people. You know, no one wants to think of themselves as the bad guy. No one wants to be a bad guy, you know. So I get that. But I don't condone the hoops that they try to, you know, get people to go through to or the arguments that they use to basically utilize them not giving a shit about people who are not like them. And, you know, and to continue to, you know, to have people see them as in the position of being right and being the objective one, you know, all the time. And that they are never wrong. So that exchange changed me to the point where I don't bother doing direct responses to anyone anymore. There'd have to be a reason if I were to do a direct response to someone. But I would rather do responses to ideas and discuss why they're repugnant. That's why the majority of that second video I did regarding Gary Edwards, that's why I talked more about intersectionality and what it postulates than to talk about him. Because that's the thing. The thing is, I don't know these people I don't know them personally. I just know them via the things that they say and the way that they behave online. Which, you know, which really doesn't say good things, but yeah, popular argument I see being used, people say dreadlocks are done by ancient Greeks for Rastafarians. So the fuck what? Anyone who is Greek now, ancient, I haven't heard, this is not to say that maybe it didn't happen, but currently right now, if there's anyone who is Greek or what have you, are they treated a certain way for having dreadlocks? Are they looked at as being, you know, dirty and shit? No. So it's almost like the argument of like, oh, well, there was slavery everywhere, and every civilization in the world utilized slavery and da da da. Therefore, we should not give a fuck that in the U.S., in the States, black people are still suffering repercussions from our ancestors being enslaved, because the fulcrum, the foundation of systemic and institutionalized racism that was created back in those days those foundations are still present now. Like, the fuck? You know, and yeah, cat black dominance, same treatment on Facebook. Yeah. And after a while, you get tired of these white dude bros who feel the need to come into your comment section and just tell you how wrong you are and how, you know, you should be an egalitarian, you know, and you're just like, oh my God, you just get so sick of it. You know, you just don't want to do direct response videos at all. And you just get tired of feeling like you're talking to a brick wall, because that's basically what it feels like. talking to these motherfuckers about anything regarding race, anything regarding feminism, intersectionality, you just get tired of it. It's like talking to a brick wall. They don't care. They don't care about what you've been through and experienced. They don't give a fuck. They really just don't give a fuck. So making direct responses to them is a waste of time. At least it is for me. It's a big waste of time, and I'd rather just break down why their ideas are repugnant. And so that's what I try to do now. Have you ever heard of Rashid For You? No, I have not. Garner, you're asking me if I've heard of all these people, and I just feel bad because I most likely haven't heard of a lot of them, you know? I'm sorry, man. I'm not that, as you can see, you know, I'm not that popular of a channel. I haven't heard of that many people. So, oh, it's after 12, and I said I'd stop now. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go get something else to eat, and I actually have to. People are hitting me on Hangouts, like my boos are hitting me on Hangouts, so I have to go hit them up. Maybe I'll talk about that next time in another random stream. So okay, so I'm gonna end the stream now, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Callens, I'm sorry, man. The main reason why I decided to just do this for the hell of it is to try out the YouTube streaming thing, and I had to download XSplit. I'm gonna hit you up on Skype because I'm about to stop the stream. But now that I know now that I have a good idea on how to start a live stream via XSplit and on YouTube, we can probably do something like that for next time. Or maybe we could do that via Hangouts too. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you. Thanks for hanging out with me for this. Oh my God, it's been an hour and a half. Thanks for hanging with me and talking with me and everything. And I guess I'll see you guys in the comment section of each other's videos. Or, counts with this that napalm. Actually, I don't think Matt and I don't think Napalm and Callan sound alike. They do not sound. They don't. Oh man, that was funny. I had to get that out for you. Okay, all right, guys. So y'all have a good night. I'm gonna go get some more Pepsi. And I'll see you guys in comment sections, or I'm on Twitter. Find me. I'm always there. Can't escape that. So yeah, y'all have a good night. Bye. Okay, how do I stop this thing? Stop.